This seat is not meant for those who carry the scent of that. The woman's voice sliced through the airplane cabin, commanding the attention of every passenger, who turned in unison, captivated by her presence. The silver-haired elder grasped his Vietnam veteran cap tightly, his head bowed in a solemn gesture as waves of shame cascaded over his weathered visage. Not a single soul came forth to stand by his side. A flight attendant waved dismissively toward the rear, her demeanor icy and uninviting. "My esteemed sir, we find ourselves with seats conveniently located in proximity to the restrooms." Yet, in that moment, the pilot's voice pierced through the silence, crackling with urgency. "We shall bring this aircraft to an abrupt halt at once." As the captain emerged, a palpable tension enveloped the entire plane, as if it collectively held its breath in anticipation. Type respect if you hold the conviction that every veteran is entitled to dignity, not humiliation. Welcome to Great Man, where your journey begins. Let us unveil the truth of what transpired. Behold Henry Hughes, a venerable 74, ensconced in seat 14B, draped in the same time-worn jacket that has accompanied him through the passage of a decade. Yet, this seemingly unassuming old man once commanded the spotlight, his presence unmistakable. 43 years ago, Henry served as a reconnaissance specialist in the heart of Vietnam, a member of an elite unit tasked with the perilous mission of infiltrating enemy territory to rescue stranded soldiers. For 6 harrowing years, he bore only a compass, a knife, and an unwavering resolve to ensure that every man returned home safely. They named him Ghost Walker, for he possessed the uncanny ability to traverse the treacherous jungle for days on end, unseen and unheard. He could find lost soldiers, leading them back to safety along paths that resided solely in the depths of his memory. Henry had heroically rescued 47 soldiers from the clutches of certain death, 47 brave souls who returned to their families, all thanks to the unwavering resolve of one man who would not abandon anyone to fate. The walls of his modest Colorado apartment stood stark and empty, a haunting reminder of what once filled the space. Not a single medal in sight, no photographs capturing the glory of past accolades, no trace of the hero he once was. Upon the kitchen table rests a solitary framed letter, its elegant script a haunting echo of his late wife's hand. "My beloved Henry," it proclaimed, "should the world ever lose sight of your essence, know this, I shall never forget. Your heroism has brought countless sons back into the arms of their mothers, allowing them to embrace their boys once more. You shall remain my eternal hero, a beacon of inspiration in my life. Adore Evelyn." In 2012, the world dimmed as Evelyn succumbed to cancer, taking with her the last soul who recognized Henry Hughes as more than merely an elderly figure occupying space in the shadows of life. Each week, Henry embarked on the same poignant pilgrimage, soaring from the majestic heights of Colorado to the sun-kissed shores of Florida, clutching the most economical ticket he could find. There, he would kneel beside Evelyn's grave, pouring out the tales of his week, as if she were still there to listen. It was the sole exchange that remained significant in his life. The hat he donned at every turn was his most cherished treasure, a humble baseball cap adorned with the words, "Vietnam Veteran First In, Last Out, 1969. It was a precious gift from Tommy Rodriguez, his dearest friend and comrade in arms, who tragically never returned home. Within the delicate confines of the hat's inner band, Henry had meticulously stitched a small piece of paper, Tommy's last poignant letter to his mother, a heartfelt plea he had entrusted to Henry, should fate take a cruel turn. Though 43 years had passed since Henry delivered that fateful letter, he clutched a copy of it tightly, a steadfast companion on every journey he undertook. To the casual observer, he was merely an old man clad in tattered garments, yet Henry Hughes stood as a living testament to bravery, a story of valor that had long been overlooked by the world around him. He refrained from discussing Vietnam with those he did not know, kept the Purple Heart concealed within the confines of his dresser drawer, and remained silent about the haunting nights when he would awaken to the echo of Tommy's voice pleading for assistance in the enveloping darkness. The world had turned its gaze away from Vietnam, leaving behind the echoes of the brave souls who once battled in its jungles. Henry grasped the depth of that truth. He was unprepared for the grandeur of parades or the sweet taste of recognition. All he yearned for was to embrace his beloved wife and return home in serene tranquility. Yet, it seems that even that modest semblance of dignity was an unattainable request. In the bustling atmosphere of the airplane cabin, the businessman in 14A pounded away at his laptop with fervor, while the elegantly attired woman in 14C was engrossed in her phone, oblivious to the world around her. Amidst this cacophony, Henry, with a quiet intensity, delicately retrieved a small photo from the depths of his wallet. Evelyn, adorned in her exquisite wedding dress, beams at the camera, radiating an overwhelming sense of joy. "Another week, my dear," he murmured to the image before him. On the brink of triumph. Unbeknownst to him, in mere moments, the serene composure he held would be violently dismantled before a sea of 100 unfamiliar faces, and the unassuming cap perched atop his head would transform into the focal point of a clash that would irrevocably alter the course of his life. Henry Hughes, the ghost walker who had heroically saved 47 lives, now found himself on the precipice of despair, poised to require salvation from the very cruelty of those who had long since forgotten the true essence of selfless service. It began with a mere cough. In the stillness of seat 14C, Henry sat, his gaze fixed upon Evelyn's photo, when suddenly, a small cough broke the silence, echoing like a whisper of longing through the air. Nothing overly theatrical, merely the persistent dry cough that arises from years spent inhaling the thick humidity of the jungle and the acrid smoke of cigarettes in the depths of foxholes. The woman in 14B, her nails impeccably manicured, clad in a designer suit, adorned with a diamond wedding ring that likely surpassed the value of Henry's entire monthly disability check, cast a glance at him filled with unadulterated disdain. "Excuse me," she declared with an icy tone, her voice resonating for all nearby passengers to catch the chilling undertone. "That is utterly unsanitary." With a swift motion, Henry clamped his hand over his mouth, a look of shock etched across his face. "My sincerest apologies, madam," but it appeared that his attempt at reconciliation only served to deepen her irritation. She scrutinized him from head to toe, absorbing the sight of his tattered jacket, his scuffed shoes, his calloused hands, his unassuming demeanor, and her expression twisted into a mask of cruelty. "Flight attendant," she commanded, her hand slicing through the air as if summoning a servant from the shadows. A young flight attendant rushed forward, her golden locks gleaming, a polished smile gracing her lips, likely just emerging from the rigors of training. "Indeed, my lady, how may I be of service to you?" The woman gestured towards Henry, her finger accusingly aimed as if he were a crucial piece of evidence in a gripping criminal drama. "This gentleman appears to be grappling with a rather unfortunate hygiene predicament, and his cough echoes through the air, a stark reminder of his plight. I simply cannot endure the presence of someone who," she paused with a flourish, "carries the unmistakable scent of neglect, as if he hasn't bathed in days." The words struck Henry with the force of 1,000 blows. His face burned crimson with embarrassment as every passenger within 6 rows fixed their gaze upon the unfolding spectacle. "Ma'am, Henry began to plead his case, yet his voice emerged as nothing more than a fragile whisper. "Behold him," the woman continued, her voice rising in volume, more grandiose and expressive. "Those garments appear as though they have been plucked from the depths of a thrift store, each thread whispering tales of past lives. That absurd hat. I dare say, he likely doesn't possess a genuine ticket at all. Perhaps a mere charity case or a wandering soul, weaving a tale so compelling that he managed to charm his way onto this flight." A businessman seated across the aisle glanced up from his phone, a chuckle escaping his lips, echoing through the air with a hint of amusement. "Indeed, this is far from the realm of Greyhound, my friend." A mother, fiercely protective, pivoted her 2 young children away from Henry, shielding them from his presence. "Do not stare, my dear," she murmured to her daughter, her voice just elevated enough for Henry to catch every word. "To gaze upon others in such a manner is simply not courteous." The flight attendant cast a glance at Henry, her annoyance barely masked beneath a veneer of professionalism. She was but a youth, untouched by the weight of true hardship, never having encountered a soul who had laid down something of significance for the sake of their homeland. "Sir," she declared with a veneer of politeness, "we do have other seating available." Perhaps you might find greater solace nestled in one of our back rows, conveniently close to the restrooms. It could very well be the more fitting choice. Henry's hands quivered with an intensity that spoke of unspoken memories as he gripped his Vietnam veteran cap with a fierce determination. The hat, once a symbol of his pride and a bridge to the finest facets of his being, now weighed heavily upon him, a stark reminder of his perceived unworthiness. "I possess a ticket that has been paid for," Henry murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. "I am merely seeking to pay my respects at my beloved wife's final resting place." "How tragic," the woman in 14B remarked, her voice dripping with feigned compassion. "Yet, your personal struggles do not grant you the authority to impose discomfort upon the rest of us." An elderly man in the row behind them raised his voice, yet his words were not a shield for Henry. "Ah, young man, perhaps it is time for you to embark on a new journey and seek a fresh start. Amidst the clouds, a few of us yearn for a serene journey through the skies." Henry began to rise, his motions languid and faltering, his sense of dignity disintegrating with every fleeting moment. As he extended his hand toward his small carry-on bag, his cherished cap slipped from his quaking fingers and tumbled to the ground. As he stooped to reclaim it, a teenager by the window let out a derisive snicker, sharing a conspiratorial glance with his companion. "My goodness, that elderly gentleman seems on the verge of collapsing. This moment is steeped in discomfort." Alone in his struggle, no one came forth to assist him in retrieving his hat. No one inquired, "Are you all right?" No soul extended even the simplest gesture of human compassion towards him. At long last, Henry seized his cap, and as he rose to his feet, his gaze fell upon the striking image of his own reflection captured in the airplane window. He beheld what they beheld, an elderly figure, solitary, vanquished, rendered insignificant. The flight attendant waved her hand with a flourish, her impatience palpable as she directed attention to the rear of the aircraft. "Sir, your new seat awaits you at 31F, conveniently located near the lavatory. I believe you will discover it to be far more fitting." As Henry embarked on his walk of shame down the aisle, his small bag in hand and his hat clutched tightly, he sensed the weight of every gaze upon him, each one a piercing reminder of his plight. Some averted their gazes in shame, while others remained transfixed, reveling in the twisted delight of witnessing another's degradation. A businessman whispered to his colleague, "Airlines truly require more stringent screening for passengers." A woman typed feverishly on her phone, likely recounting the unfolding drama to her friends. A young child turned to his father and inquired, "Father, why does that man appear so unkempt?" "Silence," the father responded, his voice a hushed whisper. "Refrain from inquiring about individuals in such a manner. Such individuals are truly captivating." As though Henry's years of unwavering dedication, the lives of 47 soldiers he saved, his esteemed Purple Heart, and his profound love for Evelyn were rendered insignificant, overshadowed by the weariness of his tattered clothes and the annoyance of his persistent cough. At long last, Henry arrived at seat 31F, positioned perilously close to the bathroom, where the sharp scent of disinfectant intertwined with the relentless roar of the plane's engines. He sank into the chair with a weighty sigh, letting his hat rest in his lap as his gaze fell upon his hands, lost in thought. After 43 long years, Henry Hughes experienced a profound sense of invisibility for the very first time. Yet, what escaped his notice, what eluded the gaze of all, was the keen eye of a flight attendant, silently observing the entire spectacle of humiliation as it unfolded before her. Rather than displaying disgust or annoyance, this flight attendant wore a mask of fury. Seething with fury, he strode purposefully toward the cockpit, each step resonating with intent. Type enough, if you would have bravely stood in solidarity with Henry Hughes. Henry occupied seat 31F, his gaze fixed upon his hands, as if he were attempting to vanish into the depths of his own being. The relentless creaking of the airplane bathroom door, swinging open and shut with an almost mocking rhythm, served as a stark reminder of the place these people believed he was destined to inhabit. Once more, he retrieved the photograph of Evelyn, the image stirring emotions within him like a tempestuous sea. Her radiant smile, now obscured by the cascade of tears he fought valiantly to hold back. "Forgive me, my love," he murmured to her ethereal reflection. "Though you have always proclaimed me your hero, at this moment, I find myself adrift, feeling like a mere shadow of significance." In that moment, the pilot's voice erupted through the intercom, crackling with urgency. "Esteemed ladies and gentlemen, it is I, Captain Rhodes, addressing you with great honor. We shall be making an unexpected halt upon the tarmac. Kindly stay seated, if you will. An urgent matter demands our immediate attention." The aircraft gradually decelerated, finally coming to a dramatic halt upon the runway, as if time itself had paused in that very moment. Whispers of bewilderment cascaded through the cabin. What is unfolding before us? Are we encountering mechanical issues? I must make my way to an important meeting. The woman from 14B wore an expression of palpable irritation. This must not linger for long. I find myself entangled in significant affairs in the vibrant city of Miami. Yet, in a twist of fate, an unforeseen event unfolded, leaving everyone in stunned silence. The cockpit door swung open, revealing a figure clad in a resplendent captain's uniform, stepping forth with an air of authority and purpose. Not merely a captain, but a towering figure of distinction, adorned with silver hair, exuding a military presence, and possessing eyes that have borne witness to the harsh realities of true combat. Captain James Rhodes, a name that resonates with authority and valor. The United States Air Force. In the twilight of my career, I have gracefully stepped away from the relentless pace of the professional world. 2 decades and 3 years of unwavering dedication, marked by 2 courageous tours in Afghanistan and 1 in the heart of Iraq. Now soaring through the skies as a commercial pilot, yet once a fierce warrior who grasped the true essence of honor. He strolled deliberately down the aisle, not heading to the front of the plane, nor to the luxurious embrace of first class, but resolutely making his way to the very back. With purpose, I advanced directly to seat 31F. All eyes were drawn to the scene as the captain made his way toward Henry Hughes, a palpable tension hanging in the air. As Captain Rhodes arrived at Henry's row, he came to an abrupt halt. He gazed down at the elderly man, whose hands tightly grasped the worn cap adorned with the emblem of a Vietnam veteran. And then he performed an act that rendered the entire plane utterly speechless. He stood poised, every muscle taut, as if the very air around him held its breath. "Mr. Henry Hughes," Captain Rhodes declared, his voice resonating with a commanding presence that filled the entire cabin. "I stand before you as Captain James Rhodes, a proud member of the United States Air Force. In the twilight of my career, I have embraced the serene embrace of retirement. The flight attendant has graciously alerted me to your esteemed presence aboard this aircraft." Henry gazed upward, a whirlwind of confusion and fear swirling within him. "My lord, I assure you, I have committed no transgression. Behold, I possess a ticket." I found myself in a moment of reflection. "Mr. Hughes," Captain Rhodes interjected with a soft yet commanding tone. 43 years ago, you became the guardian angel who saved my father's life." Suddenly, the plane fell into an eerie silence, as if the very air had been sucked from the cabin. Staff Sergeant Mark Rhodes of the illustrious 1st Cavalry Division. On the fateful day of March 15, 1971. He found himself ensnared in the chaos of a reconnaissance team, torn apart amidst the fierce gunfire that erupted near the Cambodian border. For 3 harrowing days, he wandered through treacherous terrain, cut off from communication, deprived of sustenance, and burdened by a bullet wound in his leg. Henry's eyes grew wide, a torrent of memories crashing over him like a relentless wave. "You found him," Captain Rhodes continued, his voice resonating with increasing intensity. "You bore my father through 8 treacherous miles of hostile jungle to reach the extraction point. You have bestowed upon him the gift of life itself. Thus, you bestowed upon me my own. For it was his return that breathed life into my very existence." With a deliberate grace, the captain lifted his pilot's cap from his head and cradled it with the utmost reverence at his side. "My father spoke of you with unwavering passion until his very last breath last year. Henry Hughes, the Phantom Strider. The valiant man who heroically returned 47 brave soldiers to the warm embrace of their families. The man who steadfastly refused to abandon a single soul. Henri's cheeks were now streaked with tears, cascading down like a sorrowful river. Yet, these were not tears born of shame. These were tears born from a profound understanding. To be acknowledged, to be recognized in the vast tapestry of existence. Of witnessing his service regain its significance once more. Captain Rhodes, with a commanding presence, extended his hand, a gesture laden with unspoken promises and the weight of destiny. Esteemed sir, might I have the honor of guiding you to the luxurious realm of first class? It would be my utmost privilege. The woman from 14B had turned ashen, her complexion drained of color. Her mouth fell agape as the weight of her humiliation dawned upon her, revealing the identity of the one she had so carelessly disrespected. Yet, Captain Rhodes had more to unveil. He pivoted, commanding the attention of the entire cabin. His voice resonated with the profound authority of command. Esteemed ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to a true American hero. This man dedicated 6 years of his life to the harrowing jungles of Vietnam. He bravely ventured into the heart of enemy territory, driven by an unwavering resolve to save the stranded soldiers. He returned 47 brave souls to the warm embrace of their families. The captain's voice sharpened, cutting through the air with a newfound intensity. This man has rightfully claimed every comfort, every courtesy, and every ounce of respect that we can possibly bestow upon him. And those who dare to think differently, truly, they are unworthy of even existing in the same realm as he does. The silence enveloped the room, a heavy shroud that pressed down on all who dared to breathe within it. Suddenly, from the heart of the plane, a solitary figure began to clap, their hands echoing through the cabin like a spark igniting a fire. And then, yet another. Then, another one emerged. In mere moments, the whole aircraft burst forth in a resounding symphony of applause. A young soldier, clad in his crisp uniform, who had been resting in row 18, sprang to attention with a sharpness that cut through the air, saluting Henri with unwavering respect. I extend my deepest gratitude for your service, sir. An elderly woman approached Henri, her eyes glistening with unshed tears, a poignant weight of emotion evident in her every step. My brother bravely served in the tumultuous landscapes of Vietnam. He never returned home. Thank you for reuniting countless souls with their loved ones. A businessman, who once scoffed at Henri, now approached with a bowed head, the weight of his earlier arrogance heavy upon him. My lord, I am profoundly remorseful. I found myself utterly out of bounds. I implore you to find it in your heart to forgive me. Yet, the most poignant moment unfolded as a young girl, perhaps no older than 7, approached Henri with a tender resolve, presenting him with a small American flag pin she had retrieved from her backpack. My daddy says heroes keep us safe, she declared with a quiet conviction. We are profoundly grateful for your unwavering commitment to our safety. Henri sank to his knees, his voice trembling with raw emotion. What is your name, my dear? Emma. Ah, Emma, it is the valor of heroes like your father that compels weary soldiers like myself to return home. Convey my heartfelt gratitude to him, will you? With a commanding presence, Captain Rhodes led Henri to the coveted seat 2A, nestled in first class. It was a window seat, offering not just extra legroom but also a breathtaking panorama of the sky, an expanse that Henri had diligently ensured remained unobstructed. As Henri nestled into his new seat, he reverently laid his Vietnam veteran cap upon his lap. Yet, on this occasion, it bore no mark of disgrace. It was a badge of honor that once more held profound significance. The woman from 14B endeavored to reach Henri, her heart heavy with the weight of her apology, yet Captain Rhodes stood in her path, a formidable barrier to her intentions. Ma'am, he uttered with a calm yet resolute tone, I believe you have expressed quite enough for this journey. As the plane soared back into the skies, Henri gazed out at the billowing clouds beneath him, and in that moment, a long-lost sense of self washed over him, he felt like Henry Hughes once more. Not merely an old man occupying space, but the Ghost Walker, the legendary figure who ensured that no one was ever left behind. And now, at long last, he found himself not abandoned, but embraced by the presence of another. The events that unfolded next turned an ordinary flight into a breathtaking spectacle. In the final 2 hours en route to Miami, Henry Hughes ascended to the pinnacle of recognition, becoming the most celebrated passenger ever to grace the annals of commercial aviation. It began with the flight attendants, the very same crew that had borne witness to his humiliation, now vying to cater to his every need. Extra blankets enveloped him in warmth, premium snacks tantalized his taste buds, and constant check-ins wrapped him in care, but above all, they lent an ear to his tales, weaving a tapestry of connection through their attentive listening. "Please, enlighten us about the Ghost Walker missions," inquired Sarah, the young flight attendant who had once been entangled in the very dilemma they now faced. Her eyes glistened with the remnants of tears, a vivid crimson that spoke of sorrow's embrace. Shame and admiration entwined in a tumultuous dance. Henry, nestled in the plush embrace of first class, his Vietnam veteran cap a proud emblem resting on the tray table, recounted tales long buried in the shadows of time. "We referred to it as bringing the boys home," Henry murmured softly. "It made no difference whether they were aware or oblivious, injured or whole, officer or enlisted. Should they bear the mark of American identity, a return to their homeland awaited them." A throng of onlookers started to converge around his seat. Once indifferent, the passengers now clung to his every utterance, captivated by the unfolding drama. An esteemed older gentleman presented himself with a dignified air, declaring his name to be Robert Chen, a valiant veteran of the Korean War. "Brother," he declared, gripping Henry's hand with a fervent intensity. "I understand the weight of returning to a stillness that envelopes the soul. I extend my heartfelt gratitude for your unwavering service. We are profoundly grateful for the vivid demonstration of true honor you have bestowed upon us." Yet, the most profound moment emerged from an unforeseen origin. Emma, the 7-year-old who had bestowed upon Henry her cherished flag pin, emerged at his side, her tiny hand clasped firmly in her mother's grasp. "Mr. Henry," she uttered, her voice barely a whisper, yet laden with significance. "My mother has a question she wishes to pose to you." The mother, her tears cascading down her cheeks, fell to her knees beside Henry's seat. "Sir, my husband is currently serving in Afghanistan. He is a member of the Army Special Forces, undertaking perilous missions akin to those you once bravely faced. May I capture a moment of you alongside Emma? I wish to send it to him, that he may behold the true visage of a hero." Henry's voice trembled, a fragile whisper caught in the air. "My dearest, it would be my utmost privilege." The photograph captured a poignant moment, Emma perched on Henry's lap, both clutching small American flags, while Henry's Vietnam veteran cap proudly adorned the scene. This image would soon be shared countless times across social media, accompanied by the stirring caption, "This is what American heroes look like." A businessman, having observed the earlier humiliation of Henry, approached with a heart full of genuine remorse. "My dear sir, I find it imperative to express my sincerest apologies for my conduct earlier. I was brought up with greater expectations than that. My grandfather, a valiant soldier of World War II, would undoubtedly feel a deep sense of disappointment at my behavior." Henry gazed up at him, his eyes radiating warmth and kindness. "My dear son, it is a truth universally acknowledged that we all stumble upon the path of life. What truly holds significance is the wisdom we glean from them." What transpired with the children of other passengers was even more profound. Parents who once admonished their children against staring now beckoned them forward to meet the enigmatic Henry. The children, once instructed to steer clear of such individuals, now found themselves unraveling the true essence of those they had been warned against. Champions who laid down their very lives for the liberation of those they did not even know. Behold, this is Mr. Henry, a father who passionately elucidated the essence of life to his impressionable young son. He is the valiant soul whose courage has forged a path for our safety and peace. The boy gazed up at Henry, his eyes wide with wonder. "Do you possess the qualities of a superhero?" Henry let out a hearty chuckle, the sound echoing with a hint of mischief. Absolutely not, my dear son. I am but a soldier, fulfilling my duty with unwavering resolve. That is what transforms you into a superhero, the boy declared, his words dripping with the pure, untainted insight that only the young can offer. As the plane gracefully descended towards the vibrant city of Miami, Captain Rhodes delivered his final announcement with a commanding presence. Esteemed ladies and gentlemen, it has been my profound privilege to soar through the skies in the esteemed company of Mr. Henry Hughes today. This man embodies the pinnacle of American ideals. Bravery, selflessness, and an unwavering commitment to the greater good. Let us once again express our heartfelt gratitude to him. The thunderous applause that enveloped the cabin resonated with an unmistakable intensity this time. Not merely appreciation, but a profound and heartfelt respect. The profound respect that Henry Hughes had so diligently earned 43 years ago is, at long last, being bestowed upon him today. As the plane touched down, an extraordinary event unfolded before our very eyes. In a remarkable departure from the customary frenzy to disembark, every single passenger remained seated, their anticipation palpable, until Henry was poised to make his exit. As he strode down the aisle, the audience erupted into a thunderous standing ovation, their applause echoing like a symphony of admiration. The very aisle where he had faced his walk of shame merely hours before. Henry Hughes descended from that plane, embodying the very essence of a hero. Precisely the essence of who he had always been, yet a truth he had lost sight of until 200 unfamiliar faces illuminated it once more. The truth that will linger in your mind, casting shadows long after this tale reaches its conclusion. Henry Hughes remained unchanged as he ascended into the skies aboard that plane, just as he was when he descended back to solid ground. The jacket, frayed and familiar, clings to the figure like a second skin, the hands, etched with the stories of time, reveal a life of toil, and the demeanor, unassuming yet profound, speaks volumes without uttering a single word. It was not Henry who transformed. The transformation lay in the eyes of those who beheld him. Amidst the bustling world around us, there exist unsung heroes, casually sipping their coffee in quaint cafes, patiently waiting in grocery store queues, and residing in humble apartments, their names and tales shrouded in mystery, yet their presence resonates with quiet strength. They don't don uniforms or wield banners proclaiming, "I saved lives" or "I serve my country." They linger in the shadows, unseen by a world that has lost the ability to acknowledge genuine bravery. Perhaps it is the venerable gentleman at the bus stop, a soul who once bravely served in the tumultuous landscapes of Korea. Perhaps it is the serene woman at church, whose past echoes with the valor of a Navy nurse in the tumultuous landscape of Vietnam. Perhaps it is your very own grandfather, whose valiant Purple Heart lies neglected in a forgotten drawer, shrouded in dust and memories. How many unforgettable Henry Hughes moments have slipped through our fingers? How often have we cast our judgments upon others, fixating on their appearance, their age, their financial standing, all the while oblivious to the extraordinary potential that stands before us. The woman in seat 14B did not transform into a figure of cruelty in the blink of an eye. She transformed into a figure of cruelty, sculpted by a myriad of seemingly insignificant decisions, selecting comfort in place of compassion, convenience over kindness, and judgment rather than understanding. Yet, amidst the shadows, a flicker of hope ignites within me. Captain Rhodes acted without a moment's pause to pay tribute to Henry Hughes, for true greatness acknowledges its own. Honor begets honor. And when you have embraced a life of integrity, you can recognize it in others with unwavering clarity. In the span of just 2 hours aboard that plane, the children discover the essence of heroism, gaining insights that elude most adults throughout their entire lives. They discover that true heroes may not always resemble the glamorous figures of the silver screen or don gleaming medals of honor. At times, they bear an uncanny resemblance to your grandfather. Perched in stillness, adorned with a weathered cap, surrounded by echoes of memories that could overflow 1,000 tomes. Behold, your challenge awaits. Cease to merely stroll by the Henry Hughes that inhabit your existence. Cease the presumption that those who dwell in silence possess no profound thoughts waiting to be unveiled. Cease the relentless scrutiny of individuals based on their outward appearances, and instead, delve into the depths of their true essence. Begin your quest to uncover the heroes who dwell among us, concealed in the most ordinary of places. Begin to pay tribute to the service that sought no reward in return. Begin to understand that the most remarkable individuals frequently inhabit the most unremarkable existences. For in this very moment, a ghost walker lingers in solitude, pondering whether anyone recalls the profound sacrifices made for the sake of strangers he shall never encounter. Do not allow him to linger in solitude. Share this tale if you hold the conviction that remaining silent amidst disrespect entwines you with the very issue at hand. Join us at Great Man, a realm where we honor the unsung heroes who remain in the shadows, never seeking the spotlight for their remarkable deeds. True honor requires no applause, yet it undeniably merits recognition. Your quest is clear: seek out the Henry Hughes in your existence and reveal to them the profound truth of their significance. Seize the moment before the sands of time slip away.